Everyone ready? We'll call the meeting to order. Sammy? And
Sammy's
thank you all for
leaving.
coming out April 9th. And we will stand for the invocation with Wayne leading us.
Our Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for this day, and Lord, thank you for this time we have together as a group to discuss the meetings and the things that's going on in our neighborhood. We just ask you to guide and direct us so that we make the right decisions, Lord. Lord, we just put it all in your hands, and we give you the honor and the glory, and we praise your name. Amen.
Amen.
We'll salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Batter up.
See where else.
Okay, again, thank you all for coming out tonight. Very nice weather. And we'll have the roll call. Hilda,
Glenn Hunter,
here.
Tom Trammell,
Here.
Wanda Ackerson,
Here.
James Baker,
Here.
Mike Davis,
Here.
Sammy Payne,
Here.
Tommy Matthews,
Here.
Wayne Sellers,
Here.
Charlie Thompson,
Here.
Terry Hester,
Six.
Here.
Mickey Olson,
Here.
Vicky M.
Sellers.
Sellers,
Here.
Bill Brim,
Here.
Judy Brim,
Yeah.
and Judy is a board member, so I should have called you out first. And Stephanie Watson is.
Okay. All right, board members, we ask for approval for the excused members. Motion to approve. Motion is second by Sam.
Question.
Yes.
Hilda, you got on this, for last week's or last month? I was here last month.
Oh, you
This
were?
is a special meeting. This is not the regular board meeting.
That was when we met with the attorney and then we
so you're
had
there
a
too.
special.
You were here then too? Thank you very much. I will correct.
One correct.
Correct. Okay, perfect.
Okay, we'll do that under the minutes then.
You got me here.
Motion to, you have a copy of the agenda, everyone? You do not. We have an extra one? It's coming your way, Tom.
Maybe, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we care. Okay. Okay. So you have an agenda. Any questions on the agenda going forward?
Who's that for?
If
Whoever.
not, entertain a motion to
Pass it.
approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Trammell, second by Charlie Thompson. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Move on to the minutes, and the first set of minutes that you have those printed out for everybody in February. You
The,
should have those.
the March,
We got them emailed to us.
Okay, all right, so
Right.
everybody had a chance to look at the special meeting minutes that we didn't have at the last.
Well, that one's here.
February.
no. Okay, so the March minutes are the ones that were emailed
Emailed.
to you. This one is the special meeting that I wasn't sure that I was supposed to be recording, but I was, so.
It happens. So, I mean, these were,
Do we have copies of those for everyone?
But he's asking for March, which is
Right.
different.
First of all, I'm talking about February.
Oh,
the
February,
special
March,
meeting.
the special meeting.
February
this.
27th.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
that's
correct.
this
I was
one.
going to approve both of these minutes tonight.
okay.
So that's the
Yes.
February special meeting. We know that we have that. So
Let me then clarify the fact that on this February 27th special meeting, as I said, I wasn't sure that I was supposed to be recording anything.
Can I
because
interject
understood-
just 1 second? We do want to approve that tonight. So if you could, why don't, it's less than a page. Why
Yes,
don't you just read it? And then everyone will have, if there's any questions, you can ask if y'all are good with that.
okay, and I will preface it
Just
by
like James.
saying,
Yeah.
Now, the
Do we all have one?
minutes that you have are not the beginning with the attorney, it's the after.
That's correct. They keep the minutes.
Right.
That
Yeah,
meeting, we don't do that.
that's why I was confused, James.
Me too. Great, you got it.
Okay, and I'll preface this with the fact that there were open comments, which I have found. But I don't know which ones, I don't know. Anyway, it got really, like, I've got comments from Tim Dockery and Sherry Smith and Joan Nano that I have not recorded as part of this meeting because I just felt like this meeting was really all about this.
And honestly, in true meeting minutes, it's not really he said, she said, it's mainly what actually occurred.
Okay, good.
So you're doing great.
Okay, so, after we had our
So what date was that?
February
27th?
27th, we had the call to order the invocation of the Pledge of Allegiance. During this entire time, Mr. Hank Lowry was speaking quite loudly. A member was heard asking Mr. Hank Lowry to be respectful. This seemed to set him off, and he started name-calling and insulting the board and all present. President Terry Hester called the meeting to end. What's that called when she calls the meeting to?
Adjourn.
No, she wouldn't have called it.
Yeah, she called it something.
She was
called the
trying to get
meeting.
everybody out of the building.
Yeah.
She called the meeting, that's what she
Yes, she did call.
We all kind of,
You were on the phone, so she was the next in charge.
yes. So then I skipped down to what actually we were able to reconvene at around 8 o'clock. And the chairman again asked for the roll call. And then the new business, Peter Falk was present at this meeting. He is one of the attorneys
Rick McCarthy, representing the homeowners. association.
representing, right. He reported a lawsuit has been filed by Jesse Crane against Three River Estates Property Owners, Inc. Association, governed by Chapter 720 Covenants and Restrictions for Homeowner Associations. Jefferson Brathwell is the attorney who filed the lawsuit representing Mr. Jesse Crane. I see a lot of spelling errors that I will have to correct. Our members need to know that the lawsuit is against all the homeowners in Trepo co-joined with Auto Owners Attorneys Group. We take this very seriously and we are disputing the allegations. And I wanted to just have you make sure that I got all the verbiage right because it's lingo that I'm not, super.
I do have one thing. What about Glenn?
Yes.
Because Terry is an officer, not a board member. It says, President Terry Hester called into the meeting for the safety of all present. Like that she didn't have really the authority, but she was really looking out for the safety of the people. You were on the phone with 911.
Right.
So don't you think that should go there?
Yes,
We reconvened
Right,
anyway.
right.
And finished our meeting, so that's not an issue. I did leave the meeting, so everything was
while the president was
right.
contacting the sheriff, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a little correction. Wayne and I were out of town and we missed that whole meeting.
Yes,
So, you'll have to take Wayne and I off of that roll call. We weren't here.
definitely.
Thank you.
You.
Where were you?
And Sammy was here.
Yeah.
So Charlie, you were not here.
I was here in spirit.
And
When he-
Kathy was here, but Rick Palm wasn't, right? Kathy
That's
Riker,
correct.
and she resigned after this meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Rick was here, yes.
Oh,
No, Rick wasn't here.
No, he was not here.
He was not.
I'm sorry, Rick was not here.
That's me? Oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yes.
Okay, I think I got all those corrections.
Okay, board members, that's what's in front of you now is the minutes for the special meeting on February the 27th. Entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion, we approve it pending the corrections mentioned.
Okay, have a motion. Second by James Baker. Any discussion on the February 27th minutes? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Now we'll move on, Hilda, to the March minutes from last month.
Okay.
You
And I
each have
guess
a copy of that.
those are the ones that were,
By email.
Yes.
emailed, and we're no longer printing those out for these meetings.
I think we are. Doesn't Terry use it? Terry
don't
has been
remember
sick.
getting
Terry has been.
Carrie has been sick.
what was the date that was sent? I
This
don't
was
remember getting
sent
it.
on the 22nd. Yeah, March 22nd
Yeah,
Okay.
at 1 PM.
all right. And those were pretty explicit meeting notes.
Okay.
I believe that those are the ones that you gave me a lot of stuff for, Vicky, but I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we have the March
minutes in front of you as presented by the secretary. Need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Charlie, second by
I'll say-
Vonda.
I'm confused.
I just sent it to you.
when I look at March
Any
22nd, this
discussion
is
on the minutes?
February's.
You have a
Hang
question?
Well, she told me that it was sent on March the 22nd, but when I pulled that up, it's the minutes from February 13th.
Hang on.
Okay, well, I can
Confused.
send everybody the March meeting.
Do you have the minutes,
Hang on. Go through
you have the
here.
March minutes, Vicky? No, okay.
March minutes
I don't think I have either.
are here. They were sent, like 10 days after the meeting itself, which is unusual for me. You didn't get.
The last ones I got was February the 13th.
What you looking for, Vonda?
I'm sending that so we can read right this second. It's just going to, I sent it to Vicky and I, and then we can disperse it.
Okay.
March 22.
February the 13th. I got that one.
No, this is the one she
You
just,
got the 13th.
that says February
Meeting
13th
minutes
on it.
From March
13th.
12th.
Hang on.
Oh, you know what? I know what happened. I'll have to resend this.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
All right, then let's do this. We'll, if it's good with the board, we'll hold that till, next month. We'll do the March and April in the
Yeah.
same month. So,
I'm gonna send it to everybody right now.
not to everybody, I didn't have it either. So I just- All right, okay, we'll move on to the secretary's report. Do you have anything to add, Madam Secretary?
A couple things. You know what? I'll just wait. Just, I'm kind of flustered.
Okay, well, just relax and breathe easy, all right?
Take a deep breath.
Be patient. All right, we'll move on to treasurer's report. Vicky?
Okay. I handed out the monthly numbers. Everybody have a copy? Seacoast checking account. This is our working fund. We've moved last month most all the money over from our membership account into the working fund. There's 143,282.54 now in checking as of March the 31st. Our reserve savings account is $503.56. The CD that we invested in is $50,000. And the Seacoast membership account is $3,629, and that's a total of $197,415.10. Our total deposits for the month were $1,877.76. And if you'll notice in the center of the page, it shows that we transferred to our checking account $136,000. That's why our checking balance is so high. Okay, so our ending balance for the month is $143,282.54. On the back side is your P&L. The only thing that kind of stuck out to me that might be questionable is if you notice under Columbia County Portalets, $1,254. We only pay $600 something a month for Portalets, but February was a short month. So probably I wrote a check at the beginning of the month for the previous month and then wrote another check for the current month. So that's 2 months together. That's why it's so high. Yeah, February was a short month. Any questions on the P&L or the actual numbers?
Board members, any questions? So, we'll get into the memberships, but memberships are slowing down now.
Yes.
Since we're up near the peak of our. All right, you have anything else to add to your report? Okay, board members, you have a copy of the, finance report with the expenditures, for the month. And, so we'd ask you to put a finance report with the expenditures. You have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the,
That's it.
mention.
Motion by Vonda, second by Wayne Sellers. Approve the, did I say minutes? Say that I did.
Treasurer report.
Treasury report.
Okay. Any questions on the treasurer's report, board members? All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. We'll move now to the president's report. And of course, Terry has been very, very sick for almost, about 2 weeks now, going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Working on it.
So hopefully she is getting a little better. Is that right?
Yeah, today was like her first day, like actually at her table out of bed. Like,
Yeah, she called me.
Good. Okay.
did she say anything with you to? Like, did she say anything that, cause she just, one thing she did tell me is she wanted to thank everyone in her absence because she hated missing the fish fry, but everybody stepped up and did more than their part. And all the guys that fried all the fish, it was excellent. I know we had Sherry Smith, made grits, Shirley Matthews made grits, Kathy Riker made the iced tea. Everybody just pulled together, all the men, we got the tent up, the fish fried, clean up, moving tables. I want to thank everybody. It was a wonderful day.
Yeah, I think the in my opinion, because I don't taste anything anyway, but the comments that I was getting from everybody, I think it was the best flavored food from what comments I was getting from all of them. Now the attendance was down, but it was a very great atmosphere of people there. Everybody was complimentary. Everybody seemed to have a good time. Nothing to haggle over or any burdens or anything.
The weather
There
was
a lot-
fantastic.
The weather was great. There was a lot of competition with different towns and communities having events that
Absolutely.
day. So nothing to be sad about. We'll work it next year. Hopefully we get more members to come. That was also in the newsletter too. So everyone was made aware
Yes.
of that. So maybe we can do a little bit more publicity next year.
We were discussing changing it maybe till the last weekend in March.
Yes.
We moved it to this particular weekend because the year prior, we competed with the Catfish Festival in Branford. So this year we moved it not to do that, but then we competed with Branford's community yard sale. The Ishtuckney State Park had an event. The church had an event up in Fort White along with the plant sale. There was just a lot going on.
Well, I put our fish up against the catfish down in Branford.
I agree.
What everybody was saying, so.
We were discussing that if we move it to the first weekend of April, we compete with all the yard sales citywide, and there's a lot going on, even with the state park with their spring fling. And then the second Saturday in April is always the Catfish Festival.
Mhm.
So if we were to move it to the last weekend of March, well, this year we couldn't do that because that was Easter weekend. But this next year in 25, Easter is going to be on April.
20th and-
Make sure I'm telling you correctly.
Oh,
I think it was I thought it was the 19th. Hold on, let me find it.
20th. It's April 20th and 25.
Okay. So if that be the case, why don't we go ahead and,
So I was wondering, could the board vote on moving it to the last weekend?
I'm gonna
in
go ahead
is
in
anybody
March?
opposed to that?
I'm going to put it on the calendar. for
No,
next-
so it looks like everybody here is in agreement with
So
that.
it'll be
So
March 29th of 2025.
March, you said?
There you go.
Okay.
It'll be
So-
the last Saturday in March.
Okay, that'll be good. And then what we
March
could
the
do is we can
29th.
get it on our calendar for next year then.
Right.
It's set.
And I don't, to my knowledge, we wouldn't be competing with anything then.
That sounds good. All right, so anything else under the president's report? Then we'll move on to the park manager's report. Park manager's been ill for a
you guys.
few days, so.
You didn't want me here at the fish fry, I promise you.
Correct. Did not.
Well, at least we got the tents up and I didn't even know I had, remember I
Do we need to
told,
take it down?
yeah, we need to, I'm gonna mention. Remember I told you that night whenever you called? So I just wasn't, I was tired, and I had to run home and then I'll tell you what. Anyway, I'm doing okay. The midpoint lock was broken, within this month. That's the second time that lock's been broken now in not even a year. So what I had, Bill Martin do is, the chain was this long, so people could lock it through the bar also, instead of pulling it up into the little cylinder that they had. Cause they apparently, I was talking to them, they had this problem years ago, people hitting it with a hammer and knocking it loose. And, so we cut the chain shorter, so now they pretty much, if they finagle it, they can still hook it up. But what happens whenever you change that long, that's that much they can slam it, and those locks are not made to, none of them are made to handle that constant. And so that was done on that, like hopefully,
And I might question, we got a camera, it's supposed to be,
yeah, but I didn't get the day or time that it was. I
Okay.
was told that, and I can go back and look at my notes when I got it, and maybe we can look around there and see what happened. It probably just fell apart, because like I said, over constant,
all right,
I was talking to the locksmith last time, and he said that, they're not going to handle constant wrapping. I mean, I'm not blaming any one person, I don't think. I'm just
Okay.
blaming the fact that we needed a better system because so we tried to fix that. There's been two trees have come down in the parks. There's one at Point Park. It's not causing any issues for people getting by, but when the water recedes, I'll go over there and trim it up and push it back in the woods. And the same thing with Midpoint, I was able to pull it over out of the way so people can still get in there. But the water's so far up now, it's really not that much to get down to, if you're parking at the top of the hill. I went over and, during this period, I went over and replaced the pressure switch on the boat ramp park pump over there. The one that I put in there, for some reason, it has a lever on the side of it. It would, if you would turn the water on the side on, the pump would shut off, so, but if I left that off, it worked. But if somebody came over and turned that on to wash their hands or feet or whatever, the pump would shut off. So I put a relay in there that does not have that side switch.
Is that, Bill, is that Swanee County?
Yeah, so I did that, I don't know, it was a
Appreciate you.
few weeks ago. Uh, and, I just need to mention to the members and stuff, when you're driving around in the parks or in the vehicles, that you just be very careful, because if it's underwater, you're destroying the road underneath, and it's gonna cost us quite a bit of money after we're done, if it's tore up too bad, to square it away and have that gentleman come out and fiber pack it again, so that, we don't get these big holes all over the place. So, my suggestion is that, members don't ride ATVs and UTVs in the water, at the parks that are flooded. I was called over to a boat ramp park about a week or so ago, and the water is all the way up to their little pavilion, and two young kids were having a wonderful time, but they were having a birthday party too, and there was probably about 30 people there. But they're doing wheelies and stuff down in the water, and then at boat ramp park on the other side, Swanee side. And the people didn't seem to really care. I cared because there's too many people around where they were doing that at. The young fellows, big UTVs, I mean ATVs too. If it got away from one of them, because they were all wet, and they could act without it like that, going to where the people were at. So I asked them, they had keys, and I had a talk with them, and they were very, they were good guys, about it. And I asked them, I said, yeah, you don't mind if you just take this out of the park and, find you a hole somewhere else, And they did. Okay. My suggestion is that people don't ride their UTVs and ATVs in the, waters right now because of that reason. And you and I know we're going to have just, have.
I would ride them in the waters at any time.
Well, I know.
These rivers,
Yeah, they do.
very sensitive to that.
They are sensitive. I don't think legally that people would like, but
I don't think the state.
I don't know what the state wants, so. Um, I had couple issues with boats coming up into our area. I mean, really up into our property. Um, Two separate times, one at Point Park and one at Hoder Park, when kids were swimming around them. People were drinking on the boat. I was from here to Judy talking to these people. That's how close they were. I was sitting on that little bench down at Point Park. I'm sitting there talking to them. I'm saying, you guys can't be up this far into our property. I don't know what is, their big deal is, what am I doing? It's not my job. Well, why don't you go find something else to do? Da, da, da. I had my camera on too. So
You call, you call.
yeah, and I talked to Glenn about it. I called FWC and, 2 times. One time I called them and told them about the situation. They didn't have nobody around. I said, well, if you don't send anybody that's going to do anything, please don't send anybody. Then I talked to Glenn, and Glenn said, call them back and tell them about the boat, about the kids, which is the truth. That people were drinking on the boat, kids were in the water. These were big motors too, 200s, and and so I did. And I said, and just to make sure they realized this was on them now, that it had been relayed to them and they know about it. So I finished that up and I left. The guys didn't like me very much. They called me a bunch of names and all that stuff, but
Did you get the vote numbers?
I had my camera on, and I have both of them. They were right there. So yes, I could have, and I did talk to one of our other board members, which gave me a very good idea. Or he gave me an idea as to, whenever I do call FWC, let the people know and then give them the boat number on the tape. I didn't think of it. And that was a great idea.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
description of the boat, that if you can see the model,
Yeah.
what size motor and all
You
that.
may want to mention too, if it appears that they're acting a little erratic
Mhm.
and that you see a lot of alcohol and it doesn't seem to meet the standard
Yeah.
for what we would consider to be good ethical conduct,
Yeah.
we'd want to let them know that, because that would be part of their case. If they come to do whatever they've got to do.
Right. And, they were so far up, our ramp is way down there. It's underwater completely. So they could have ran that over. But they're up towards that little one single bench just back, which I'll be hitting you all up about benches this year after the water goes down. But anyway, that was taken care of. And then we had another one down here. Terry called me and said there's 3 boats in Hoder. And just so happened I was there. I was sitting down there at the pavilion watching them, and they were tied off at the one tree that has our sign there that says, swimming area or whatever. And there was a kid right behind one of them. They got upset with the fact that I was sitting there. I really wasn't. They were farther out. I wasn't watching them. And alcohol was involved again. One of them was a member. He got out of his boat and walked on in. I asked him if he had a key. He did. Showed me, and I said, well, you guys shouldn't even be close to where the kids are swimming. Come on, give the kids a break, And he kind of agreed, but
Bill, it seems to me that the presence is there and you're continuing to do this, that it's actually making some traction. Not anywhere near like it was in the beginning.
Well, I think so
We're
too.
not going to be 100%.
No, sir.
It's not. So
But one of the boats, and I took a picture of this one. I didn't have my camera on, so I didn't think it was really an issue, But anyway, I took a picture of it. One of the boats got upset that I was sitting there and put it in reverse real quick and just about ran over a kid that was right behind the boat. I mean, and so, and that's that.
Well, please know something too, that from a liability standpoint, we were doing nothing.
Yes, sir.
And you weren't making a report
Mhm.
that we are documenting.
Mhm.
Then we would have a very weak case if something does happen and we get sued because we're not doing that, because the experience that we've had in this one particular lawsuit, it was driven all by that. Thank goodness that this board, through the past chairmans and the committees, have worked to emphasize safety And while we're not 100%, we can't be 100%. We are at least going through the process and stating clearly what we've got, and we've got someone in your cell who is documenting. So it truly helps us in the long term. And I'm saying it can be in significant dollars. It can make a difference for us down the road.
It's one thing to have rules, but there's another thing that you have somebody enforcing it.
Right.
That's even more helpful.
Yes, James?
Could we, as a Treco board, forward these type of incidents from his report as to FWC, that this is from the Treco board, our department managers running into these issues? And with us, I guess doing basically a follow-up.
Probably a good way to do that, and I would only assume this, but, you know, I do watch a lot of TV stuff. Files and stuff. Emails seem to be something that you're not supposed to delete, some people.
Yeah.
So it might not be a bad idea to build that track record as to, this is the entity, and this is what we're reporting. And we're reporting this on such and such day, at such and such hour, about such and such boat. Because down the road, those are the first people that'll sue us.
Oh, yes,
The ones that are doing all the stuff, they'll be the first ones to sue us. So at some point, that'll be very relevant to.
Good
us
idea.
protecting ourselves.
That's a really good idea.
That's gonna be a little bit of work, but if, Bill, if you feel comfortable with that.
It'd just be another check. No,
Do that in your sleep.
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just,
So anyway, that's a thought. That's a really good thought.
it'd be 8 checks in a month.
Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. With that, you know, everybody's been complaining now for months about that brown dog across the street over there. He's been getting in the park over here, and then it's pain in the butt to get him out.
He comes to the clubhouse when we have Bible study.
Yeah, and I found, I was there a couple days ago, and when they were having a picnic or something at the pavilion, a birthday party. And the dog was in there. The dog is fine. It's not gonna hurt nobody. It's a sweet dog. The problem is it's in the park. And so I went over and talked to the people. It lives right across the street here in the yellow house. I went over and talked to them. Yeah, and I told them, I said, you know, we got a problem with your dog, and we need to see if we can figure out how to make it taken care of. I don't want to have to call the sheriff every time that dog is over here, and it's over here all the time. It's out in the road. The lady, an older lady, then I talked to her son, said, yes, that dog does not belong to us. It was dropped off by a fellow by the name of Lance Miller, lives on Central. Wasn't taking care of it. They've been taking care of it, but it's not their dog. And I put that out there because of the fact we need to get in touch with this gentleman and have his dog, you know, because I'm going to have to start
I think
calling the sheriff.
simple phone call to the county code enforcement,
Mhm.
animal control.
Yeah, and give them the.
They're picking them up left and right in droves right now.
Yeah.
And people are dropping these bulldogs off at these little stores.
Uh-huh.
Some half dead, some pregnant as heck.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a batch of them last week. So.
I know it's a constant problem for everybody,
But code enforcement will have to, if you state that, I think they have to keep their dog, but keep them on a leash, if I'm not
Yes, sir.
mistaken.
they are.
No,
That dog, it stays right out here along the road all the time.
right.
You know, I see it all the time. I love dogs just as much as anybody else, and especially good ones. So
Well, I had to go pay $50 to get my dog back years ago from,
Yeah.
Humane Society. So
yeah, they said
all my
they've
dog
already.
did was go down to the bus stop.
Yeah, they
So,
said they've already been fined one time.
James, did you have a question?
Well, I was just to say, I had to shovel somebody's cat off the road the other day that didn't make it across. So what's gonna happen is this dog's gonna get hit,
Yes, it is.
gonna be hurt or killed. Worse if it's just hurt, because then you gotta try to handle an animal that's hurt that doesn't want to get touched.
Yeah, I know about
So
that.
it's a whole lot better to let them go ahead and pick it up. We could tell them, you know, give them the description of the dog, and I was told this is the owner. And let them take it from there, because otherwise.
You're gonna be dealing with it over and over. 'Cause
Well, you know, we had a bunch of kids in here too, and I thought if the dog wasn't friendly or something, it could have been an issue too. That's the other side of the coin.
Julie, do you have a question?
Well, I actually had to report that dog 3 times, and I followed up with what they told me was required, which was an affidavit signed and sealed by a notary. And so then they came, they had already warned him, they fined him. He doesn't have to pay. He's got 2 weeks to decide whether he wants to take that to court. It's ridiculous. Really, this is animal control. So it's gotten to the point. So then I
How
called
long
him
ago was
again.
this?
This was last week.
Okay, wow.
And then I called them again because I got pictures, the following week, and she said, I can't do anything until his 2 weeks are up and he decides whether he wants to pay the fine or not.
Yeah, now, animal
It's a
control,
joke.
animal
It's a
control is
joke.
under the county and not the Humane Society
It's
anymore.
a joke. It's Columbia County.
So that's what I went through with that same dog and that you were talking about.
I'll tell you what, the commissioners listen to. If you call a commissioner, give them that report or send them an email. That's what they typically do. They will listen to
Yeah,
that.
this is the same guy who shot 2 foxes because they were
Oh, my
after his dogs, he thought. They had him on camera. He had him on camera. So the fact that I turned him in is dangerous for me. I don't want to do this again.
We'll let Bill do
I'm
that.
so
then.
tired
I'll
of this
do it.
community. I
Oh.
was like,
I'm already got it.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Bill.
Let me finish up here. I had one toilet removed. I have been keeping an eye on them. All of them are doing just fine. The one in Camping Park was questionable, so I called up Polonies. They moved it up a little higher. And tonight's meeting, I called about the sheriff about tonight's meeting, and they advised me they would have a deputy real close.
Very good. Accomplish that. Any questions of Bill on the park manager's report? All right, Bill, thank you so much. We'll move on to communications. Vonda?
Okay. Well, we will start off with membership, where we're at right now. So for April 2024, on the Columbia side, we have 646 members. On the Suwannee County side, we have 232 members, for a total of 878 members at this time. And then, so that's it with membership. So it's slowing down. It'll probably hit a peak again right around Memorial Day,
It usually does, yeah,
as long as the water goes down.
as soon as they get here for the summer.
So, so you can do the fish fry, you want to do that?
Yes, you can do it.
Okay. So we just had the fish fry. I'll go over the numbers for that. So we had three bills. The first one was for Cedar River. That was our fish, our oil, and the hush puppies. That was coleslaw. $643.98. Then we had two receipts from Sam's for everything else. It was $221.34, and then $96.02. So a total of $961.34 for all the supplies and food, everything for the fish fry. Dinner sold, we sold $613. That was that and the 50/50. And then the difference between what we spent and what we took in was $348.34. So that's what we have for the fish fry.
We also had a check that was a donation from one of the members towards our AED purchase for the park.
All right,
So that'll be deposited separately from the fish fry number.
okay, very good.
Okay, and on top of that, we also, and this person would, wishes to remain anonymous, but we've had a member that is going to donate an AED machine that's never been used. She did suggest that we may want to order, the battery works fine, it's never been used, but to have a backup, because if you need it, you need it. And also the pads, I think, have an expiration date on them. She said those would be the two things. She would transfer ownership. I think it's called Heart Smart, I believe is the company that it was bought through. And
I would only have one question. When she donates it to us, I don't know how those things work, but
there's
they have
a,
to be certified, I'm sure, and it has to have, some stamp of approval before, because if we take something and use that, I
Right.
mean, is there somebody that's
She's-
responsible
she's-
for the
She's got the
operation?
receipt and everything, and then once they turn it over, then it would be in our name, and then they would, I guess,
Then whatever goes with that as it relates to
Right, that's-
liability and
Right.
workmanship or whatever.
Yeah.
What I would suggest is when you get it and you talk to her, would find out who the people are that sell it.
it's called Heart Smart, I believe.
And
It's
find out if anybody local around here services them and have it certified at whoever services them. Somebody has to service them because they do have batteries in them. And, you know, the battery, if it's never used, is gonna last a long time. And as you were talking about, you know, I use them, it's all verbal commands. You just turn it on and it'll tell you what to do.
And those
And I think
that,
she
us
said
that
there's
went
a
through the
video.
CPR class,
Yeah.
he went through that and showed us that it tells you step by step what to do. So you can almost be a dummy and do it because it just walks you through it.
So from our standpoint, there's got to be an operating, I'm sorry, there's got to be an operating procedure
Right.
that maintains that equipment
Right.
on our staff. Yes, James?
Well, the ones we used to have at the department I was with, the officer would just check it to make sure, when you push the button, and it's gonna tell you if everything's working or not.
And she sent a video of it working just to show that it was.
We never had anything recertified.
Okay.
Whenever batteries would start.
That's just a
to fill
term.
up.
I just threw that out. I don't know how that equipment works, but I do understand liability if we're not aware. Because
I'm sure that it's covered under the Good Samaritan Act without a problem, you
The
know.
companies will be able to tell you all that.
right. If the warranty stays with that's what's critical. Okay, Sammy, you had a question? Oh, okay. All right.
The other thing, of course, social media. So someone has posted, I guess checks that were, which is public knowledge for anybody that wants to come and look at our records of, I know my name's on there, Terry's, Bill's. Are you on there? No, John Bryant tomorrow, so, which he's no longer with us. But it's misconstrued. Everyone's like, why is Bill making all those checks? I think you may get I think on that thing it showed maybe 2 a month. But I want to, so Bill he's paid for his time, his hours. He's also paid mileage and he's also reimbursed. So if we need him to pick up things here, then Glenn or Terry will say, Bill, can you get this, go pick up this, go get that. So a lot of what thinks he's getting checks for, there are receipts that Vicky would have of this money that was spent out. So all of the money that you see under Bill's name is not necessarily all Bill's pay. Just like the pressure switch replaced. Bill saves us hundreds of dollars by fixing things that we would have to call a plumber or an electrician, just little things like you would do in your own home. But someone here has to do them, and fortunately, we have Bill to do that.
When we were doing renovations at the Swanee Boat Ramp,
Yeah.
he had probably several $1,000s in receipts that we were constantly writing checks to reimburse him where he bought materials for Nathan to do the repairs. So
Right.
there's
And he
a lot of
also
checks
assisted- he
involved
also
with that.
Assisted that person to
Yes.
get it done. at a
Yes.
Better cost for
Yes.
us.
So-
I would like to add that it's not only his free time when he's researching the products, he's also taking the time to get it delivered and also give it out, wherever it needs to go. So those are
Bills.
billed hours.
Well,
Right.
all of those bills, let me
Yeah.
just say this, all those bills are approved through
Yes.
the treasurer.
Yes.
And also, I have an opportunity to see those, so
Mhm.
we're not giving Bill anything more than this board approved for that job to be.
Each one of those invoices are approved either by you or by Terry as the president.
Right, and the one thing I did notice, I don't do Facebook, but my wife showed me a picture of the document that was put out there on Facebook. And I recognized the document. And the document, this is how disgusting this is really getting to be.
Yeah.
But that document, it was a document that was prepared by the treasurer for our attorney to present to the opposing attorney. That information is nowhere else, anywhere else.
Right.
So, I think that is absolutely appalling there's nothing there that we're hiding,
No.
but there's something going on when that information is presented exactly same document that we presented to the opposing attorney, the complainant. So just tell you, this is what this is doing. It's doing nothing more than attempting to stir things up with a lack of knowledge and information about really what's going on. These folks are afraid to walk up and ask the question. They just want to slander and slur this stuff throughout the community. It's very unfair. However, board members, I would tell you that you're all doing a good job. We're all moving in a good direction. Our parks are clean. We've made them safe, and we fought the tough fight to make it that way. And we're appreciated by the 95% of people out here. They very much appreciate this, while the same few people do nothing but try to tear down because they can't have their way. And we're going to continue to work the rules. We do the best we can. Can't beat them all the time, but we're making some great strides for all the people who really give a flip down here, who want to make it the best it can be. Yeah, James.
Well, actually, this might be more for Vicky. Can we have a work order type program as far as maintaining the expense of the park and the man hours it takes?
That
A
goes.
lot of places I've worked at, that's one of the things, you put in a work order. Whoever the maintenance technician happens to be, whether it's so-and-so, builds plumbing, or whether our build's doing it. Then we can show man hours versus a park manager salary that, but it's not understanding is being paid as far as mostly the maintenance technician. And also for, okay, this park cost $145.15, and it show up on an actual numbered work order.
I don't get a
Basically,
salary.
his work is
It
inclusive.
shows where the money's.
Yeah, his work's inclusive in the budget that we've already established.
Well,
So it's not like nothing's being abused there.
Oh, I know, well, that's what I'm saying, no, it's not. I don't know how lucky we got to get Bill to be park manager.
And sometimes what'll happen, some of these projects are very small. So when something breaks, he immediately assesses it, and for the purpose of making it accessible to the public or fixing it because it's a liability, takes it on and gets it done. So, but he always makes a phone call to myself or Terry.
and each one of these invoices are coded so that in the budget, we know how much he spent for repairs in Columbia versus Swanee. And then if we need to go back to that month's work, I can see which parts were actually the work was done. It's a little bit different process, but
We're not talking about big numbers.
No.
It's basically maintenance, and it's on a very small scale as compared to the overall budget. And so everything we look at, I haven't seen anything that gave me concern.
Oh, well, it's not my concern about how much work's being done. My concern is people misconstruing.
And that's the reason why that was put out there.
But I think you're documenting that with a voucher on all of this work, so it is attached to it.
The reason why that was put out there was to make people feel like we are stealing money. That's exactly why it was put out there, and that's why the wording.
well, that's the accusation.
Right. Let me tell you, I would not, never mind, I don't have to plead my case.
You do not, but I'm gonna plead mine. You got something?
Go ahead.
So mine, let me just go over a few of mine here. This is, April of 22, I got a check for $793.09. July of that year, I got one for $1,338.24. October, $1,396.50.
Wow.
I know, just really raking that money in, huh? This was also an election year. I paid for all of everything that was mailed out, sent out, printed. So a lot of this is but everything is for TRIPO. Everybody in here that is reimbursed any check, you used your money, which when I ran for this board seat, I ran for me to give my time, not my pocketbook. Now, I give a lot. There's a lot of things I don't turn my receipts in for, but the bigger things I do.
Bob, let me verify something though, too.
Yes,
All right. You don't get a check because you say I did this.
no,
There's a voucher that's attached to that for.
just like the receipts I
specifically-
get from Sam's, from Walmart, from Renaissance Printing, from the US Post Office.
But I can assure you, this conversation tonight is appreciated by 95% of the people. 5% of the folks that are costing us a significant amount of money in their efforts to beat this up on social media and cause maybe particular conflicts that we may have to pay for to defend all the people in Three Rivers Estate that they have to pay for. It doesn't matter to them. So it's going to continue on. So I would just commend everybody and thank you for the job you're doing. Okay, Wayne?
This particular document was put out there,
Yes,
went from lawyer to lawyer.
correct.
Does the lawyers, are they aware that this person put it on social media? Where is that, or do you?
They are today.
Okay.
So whatever that is, it doesn't, I don't really want to get into
Yeah, I mean.
any of it and all of that right now, but yes, they understand the trade for this stuff. Go ahead.
I would like to say that some of the things that are said on social media about certain people, and people are called out by name, every one of us have a profile on the TRIPO website of who we are and how we can be reached.
Right.
And all people have to do if they have a question, especially for the treasurer, call me, send me an email. You can reach me. But going out there on unofficial sites and stating things about the treasurer or how our bills are paid or whatever, it is totally unproductive. If they really want an answer, they should contact me directly.
But they really don't. So at the end of the day, all we can do is ethically and morally work, provide the best opportunity for the property owners through being a member in good standing to utilize the parks, bring their families and their children and their friends, be able to utilize that. That's really all we can do. And we can't be 100%, but we can get pretty darn close.
If these same people would go to their neighbors that are not members in good standing and influence them to pay their membership dues, then we would be in a whole lot better status as far as having to raise dues or not raise dues if we could just get everybody to pay. Just imagine how good it would be if they'd use that energy for that.
From where we were 4 or 5 years ago, from where we're going today, we're making great strides.
Yeah, we are.
Sam, you have a question?
Yeah, this is from Vicky, y'all. When I saw that list too, but it just had our names. Is there any way you can document it to give it to them, to put something behind it saying that it is,
They have it all.
not on that when you did?
No, we don't need to get it. That is very, very cumbersome. That information is here attached.
Yeah, I know.
How long did that take you? 10 hours or?
No, it was, I think, 30-something hours over 4 days of
It's
pulling
not- it's
records.
not- It's here.
Yeah,
And it is.
but I'm just
public
talking about
records
like,
request. It's
I was
amazing.
yeah, I was just thinking for the
So-
future, if you could put a document, not a document with it, but where you had to type out that for them or give it to them for the future.
Well,
Put
let me,
something behind it.
let me give you a for
Say-
instance, the request from the attorney for that backup information for every one of those checks. Some of those checks in the for part of the check, it was written reimbursement for receipts or whatever. That was even on the list, but yet they still requested copies of the backup. And like I mentioned into a meeting before, when we came here and sat with the individual and went through all the files and took all day long, and he made copies of bank statements with his cell phone, the same invoices were in those same files and he could have copied them.
Let's
But
not
it was
get
done
into
another way.
that. That's a
Yes.
separate matter. That'll be handled through the courts.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Well, actually, I don't think we can touch it because it is being handled by the courts right now.
Right.
Right.
But, I just personally want to thank so many people that, like Vicky and Vonda and Charlie, yourself and Terry, for all the work y'all are doing, because y'all are saving Trico tens of thousands, if not more dollars, because we would have to have a management company.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have qualified people doing such a good job.
Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what we've done. We've, go ahead, you want to say something? Oh, okay. I didn't want to leave anybody out. Well, we sure expanded the communications committee, didn't we?
Yeah, good job, Vonda.
Well, let's move on to new business, and we've got the 2024 Tripo elections that'll be in October. So do we have any dates as to when they have to file by? And what-
No,
how they're gonna do that?
No, I just started pulling today, printing out from 2 years ago. The forms we use, everything, we just need to kind of go through and update the dates. All the same information would be there. So I say this time next month, we should have all the paperwork ready to go. The application should be able to go ahead and be put on the website. We'll get everything ready to go. So next board meeting, everybody can look over everything to make
Sure.
sure that everything looks good.
Okay, because this is April, next meeting would be
May.
time to do it.
And then-
Also, we hired the elections office, 3 employees, I believe
I
it
think
was.
Carol handled that because
Carol
we
did?
did,
Okay,
because we wanted to kind of stay out of it.
yeah,
So those people didn't know anybody here.
that was pretty smooth, so I think that would be a good way to do it. There's nothing that you can go back on there done that way. Let's do that if we can. Yes, sir.
Hilda's things updated on
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, that's there. We have any old business, board members? Okay, we'll move on to, are there any property owners here tonight that would like to speak to the board?
No.
Dun-dun.
I'm the only one.
I know.
Yeah, on the property owners.
Okay,
I've been here for so long, I don't know where else to go.
that's true.
We left the door open.
Okay, board members, then, our next meeting will be Tuesday, May 14th at 7 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, we got a lot of daylight. We want to continue to meet at 7 o'clock. Is that better? I know some folks work. It may be difficult.
Better for me, I work for a living.
Okay, we'll do it at 7 o'clock and we'll keep it that way.
I'm sorry.
All right, so we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Charlie, second by Wayne. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you all.